Well, hello and welcome to Pilson. Please come in. This is my humble studio. This would be the control room here and here. And I have lots of fun gear here. Lots of fabulous guitar amps over here. Lots of nice little Marshalls there. Then if you go a little lower, you see all the cool mic pre's I got. I got APIs. Neves, I got some Telefunkens over here. That's the same kind that they used in the Beatles board. There's an Ampex down there, another Ampex. Neves, got 1176s. Pultec EQ, this is from 1953. Wonderful sounding unit. Anyways, a lot of cool stuff there. Got a lot of cool guitars as well, which we will get into. But first, I should probably bring up the fact that I have a Mellotron. Quick unusual story about this Mellotron. I got this in 1977, but of course I couldn't afford to buy the whole thing right away, so I had to put payments on it through American Music in Seattle. In August of 1978, still hadn't paid it off yet, Foreigner came through Seattle, and they ended up calling American Music because their Mellotron had been destroyed in a plane flight or something. Anyways, it wasn't working. They asked if there was one to rent. The only one that was around was mine in the store. But by the way, Mellotron was like a predecessor to the sampling machine. You get cool string sounds out of it and stuff. It's great. And Foreigner used it. So they called me up and they said, would you mind renting your Mellotron to Foreigner? I said, no, not at all. They said, they'll give you free tickets to the show. So I did. I walk into Veterans Stadium in Seattle where they were playing during Cold as Ice when the Mellotron was playing. Very, very cool thing. How bizarre that years later I would end up in the band. Anyways, okay, let me start with some of these guitars. This is a 63 T-Bird, all original. Love this thing. This is my Hofner Beatle bass. Love that. Although use it very rarely, but when I do, I have to play Beatles songs. Nice Ampeg 8-string. Peg scroll bass over there. That's one of the very first 100 made. Now I got to tell you about this, which is my 10-string bass, made for me by Keith Horn at Marvin Guitars. Custom built, all to my specifications, and this thing just sounds amazing, looks great, plays great. Plays better than any multi-string bass I've ever played, and it sounds incredible. This one, interesting. This is a 64 Fender Electric 12. This guitar I used to rent from a guy by the name of Andy Brower, who had a rental company in North Hollywood, and he would record to all the people that were recording. Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Tom Petty, all used to rent this thing. This is a magical electric 12-string. I always used to rent it. In the early 90s, I started renting it a lot. And I would ask Andy, please, can I buy that? And he goes, nope, everybody wants to buy it. Dylan wants to buy it. Harrison wants to buy it. Petty wants to buy it. I just kept bothering him about it over and over, never did. Years later, early 2000s, I get a call from Andy. He says, you still want that 12-string? I said, I sure do. So I paid a little too much, but I got it, and I'm very happy. Here's an ES335. George Lynch happens to love this guitar. We use it as an overdub, and he's even played solos on this thing. It's just a really special guitar. 65 Gibson ES335. It's a 64 175. Don't use that too often, but when I do, it sounds amazing. This is a 57 Gibson J200, played by not only George Lynch on Burn the Truth on the End Machine record. Bruce Watson played this on the Flame Still Burns studio recording that we made a few years ago, and he did an amazing job. It was Mick Jones and I sitting in here. Just did a fabulous job playing that. Guild 12-string, sorry. Got this also from Andy Brower. This is my Bedell acoustic guitar. Bedell is a great company out of Oregon. They make amazing guitars. It's not vintage, but it's amazing sounding guitar. One of my 58 P basses. It's kind of a mock P bass because I bought the parts separately. This is my 63 Candy Apple Red P bass that I love. This thing sounds amazing. I've done a lot of recording with it. It's a very magical bass. Breedlove fretless acoustic bass that I love. Breedlove is part of the Bedell company. Amazing instruments. I used this on the recording of I Don't Want to Live Without You that we put out. It was a version that we did that really featured this fretless bass. It came in very, very cool. Here's my baby. This is my 58 P bass I've had since 1986. I bought it when I was in Dokken because I had recorded with other P basses that I rented from Andy Brower, by the way. I knew that I wanted an old P bass, so I found this in New York, paid very little for it. This is the lightest bass I've ever had. Plays amazing. It sounds amazing. It records incredible. It, tends to record more clanky, heavier stuff, but God, I love it. Here's an ES295. Brian Adams had one, and the first day of our tour with Bryan Adams, I saw it in a guitar case. I thought it was Mick Jones's, and I started playing it, and the guy said, excuse me, that's Bryan's. Sorry. But anyways, I had to have it. I found out what it was and bought one just like it. 58 Gretsch 6120 that sounds amazing. I had to have it refinished because it was really ugly, but I love the way it looks. Here's another baby of mine, 1955 Les Paul. That was originally a gold top. And when I got it, it had been refinished years earlier. It was refinished in the 60s. So the finish is nice and cracked, but that guitar is just so amazing. Mick Jones has played that a lot on some of the re-records that we've done. He loved it. Slash played it when we did the Adler record. He used that to record the solo that he played on. So, all right, now this is the amp isolation room. This is my Marshall cabinet that I use for everything. Vintage 30s, 65 Vox AC30. Gotten from Bob Dixon, who did an amazing job getting it to me. This is my special Wildwood SVT. This is the greatest sounding SVT in the universe. Took a lot for me to get this. It was a rental company had it in Connecticut, and they didn't want to let go. But I was so persistent, and I paid way too much for it. But this thing's amazing. All right, drum vocal room, drum kit courtesy of Mr. Brian Tichy. This is a cool sounding room. I have multiple surfaces. I have stone on the back wall. I have wood on this wall. When we take up the carpet when we do drums, so we have a wooden floor, fabric on the other walls. Done lots of records with drums in here. It's pretty amazing what you can do. I mean, we have a nice tall ceiling over there, so even though that space is smaller than I would like, with this tall ceiling up here, I can get a little bit of space out of some microphones there. Anyways, guys, that's about it. That's Pilson in a quick little virtual tour. Hope you guys are all doing well. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.